Hi everyone. We are going to be going through the RecyclerView assignment, a better way assignment, implementing RecyclerView. Okay. The assignment says following the video tutorial on RecyclerView, modify it to show a contact category screen when you open the project. The contact category should be in terms of family, friends, colleagues, tutors, or whatever group or category you feel like creating. Then use any layout manager that is not vertical linear layout for the category recycler view. Basically, we are going to be using, don't make use of vertical linear layout since we already use that in the tutorial. So you need to use a different kind of a different kind of layout manager to display these categories. Then clicking on each category should take you to each contact list, and the toolbar should show what category you are in. Then you can add contacts to it. Okay, so first let's check out the result of the video tutorial on RecyclerView. Okay, so here is the result of the RecyclerView tutorial. When you run the app, this is the first screen that shows up, and when you click on the floating action button, you can add the name of your contact. Then you can add the phone number of your contact, and then you can click on save. Okay, you can add a second contact and click on save. Okay, so this is what we have. This is what we have. So now we're going to modify this so that when we launch the app for the first time, it shows a category list first. Then clicking on each category brings you into this page where you can add the list of your contacts. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so going back to the Android Studio, you're first going to you're going to be creating a new activity. So you can call it category activity. So let's make it our launcher activity since that is the first screen we want to see once the app is launched. Okay. So meanwhile, let's create a list of contacts that we wish to actually make use of in our app. Let's call it category. Let's make it let's make it an object. So here we can create a list. So here we can create a list of category. Our category is just a string of different categories. First one, you can call it family. You can call this school. You can call this friends. You can call this study. What other kinds of category can we use right now? Okay, colleagues, tutors. That makes sense. Okay, you can say colleague. You can say tutors. Okay. Okay, so then next let's create a recycler view for our category. A recycler adapter. Okay, so let's create a view holder. So here, okay, let's create a layout for the recycler view item. So for this item, okay, let's make the parent a card view. Let's make this height of 200 dp and the width of 200 dp and give it a compact padding. And then, okay, we can now use a constraint layout. But since we are going to be using just one test view, I don't think there is need for a constraint layout. Um, uh, let's see how the test is going to be rendered. Okay, let's give it a font, a text size of, say, 18 sp. Font style, text style of bold. So we can make gravity here. Oops, sorry. Oh, okay. Cool. Okay. So now this is how we want our categories to look like. Okay, for each of the items. Okay, so next we can, okay, let's give this an ID. Category, test view. So now we can go back to our let's create our binding method. Okay. Okay. I think we'll not be needing this. So here let's complete the creation of our recycler adapter. So here let's create list categories, list of string. Since we are going to be expecting a list of strings that we created already in the category class. So here will be returning category So here we are inflating the layout. And here we should return folder dots. Okay. So let's bind our category. For bind category string, category item binding dot category dot text equals category. So in the unbind folder, you can say folder dot bind position. So far, I think our recycler view is ready. Then now we move over to our category activity. So what we should do here is, okay, first let's set up our recycler view here. Category recycler view. Okay, I think that's all we need. Next, we go over to our category activity and create our binding. Then here we can say binding equals activity category dot inflate layout editor binding dot root. Okay, so now we should set up our adapter. I'll save adapter equals contact equals category recycler adapter. Here we call the list which we already created. So here we created a list, so that's what we are going to be passing into the contact recycler adapter, which is expecting a list here as well. So next we can say binding dot category recycler view dot adapter equals adapter. First let's say binding dot category recycler view dot layout manager equals was grid layout manager. Okay, let's use grid layout manager. So it expects a contest, a span count, and an orientation. The contest is span count and an orientation. So contest, you can say this. You can span count is how many grid you want it to have. You can say 2, and then we can give it grid layout manager dot vertical. What could be this? Okay. 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 So so far I think we are done. Okay. Let's just test and see what we have. Okay, meanwhile, let's check our manifest and see what's happening there. Okay, so we need to move this launcher in the main activity for now, since we want our first screen to be the category activity. So the launcher should be in just the category activity. Okay, so let's run the app now. The app is running. Okay. This is what we have. Okay, so let's fix up our items. I think there is a little bit of error on the item layout. First, let's give it a margin of 16 dp, and then let's maybe give it a corner radius of 4 dp. Let's see. Okay. Okay. This seems not to. This seems to still be the way it is. Even though the items, the categories are showing, but the layout seems to still not have been fixed properly. Alright, so I think reducing, we should reducing the size of the height and the width to make it render better on the screen, and reducing the layout margin. Okay, so now this is how our category screen looks like. Now we have 6 categories on the screen. And okay, next we need to add an on-click listener so that once we click on each of the category, we can go into the contact list activity, where we can then add contact for each of the group. So first, I think we should change the title of this activity. You can change it by saying activity, by just saying title the test. Okay, just saying title equals category. Also, so now I think that works. Now we have changed this to the contact category. Okay, so up next, let's add an on-click listener that will help us move into the next activity and then display the name of the category on the toolbar. So going back to the category recycle adapter. So what we need to do is here is okay. Now we need to click on an item click. We need to create an item click listener. So here we are going to be creating a listener in form of a lambda. Private listener. We are expecting a string type, and it's going to be returning a unit. Okay, so in our on-click listener, we can say category view binding dot root dot set on click listener. Here we can say listener dot invoke our category, so that once we click on it, it passes our category to the activity. And then going into the category activity, now you can see that category adapter is expecting a value. So because it's a lambda, we are going to just do this. We could say var intent equals intent. Since we are starting a new activity, we are going to do that using an intent. This main activity class .java. We can pass the string. Since we want to display the name of the category on the main activity toolbar anytime it's click on, let's pass the string by saying intent.put extra. So I think we should create okay, so I think we should create a companion object you can call it val category args. And call it category args, just to make sure we don't make mistake while typing it. So here we can put in category args, and then we can pass in this string here. Let's call this category. So we can pass in the category here. Then we can start activity. Okay, so I think this should do. Then coming into the main activity, we need to receive the argument. And to receive the argument, we should do that in the onCreate here. We can say if intent dot extras is not equals to so if intent dot get string extra category activity dot category args is not equals to null. I'm trying to make sure that the activity actually is passing in data. Okay, so okay, first let's do it this way. Val category var extra, let's say var extra equals this. Let's cut this and paste it here. Then we can say if extra is not equals to null, title should be equals to extra. Okay, this is looking good, but then we need to test to find out if what we have done is working fine. Okay, so now our app is running. Okay, so I think we need to bring back our app online. Okay, so I think it's online now. Sorry about the noise. Just trying to get the screen back online. Okay, so now when you run the app, you see a category of contacts. When you click on each one, it opens the contact activity. It opens the main activity where you can now click on, and then you can add your family contacts. It can be any name and any number. Once the number is up to 11, you can save. You can add another one. So basically what we have done is create a category of contacts, so that when we click on each of the contacts, it takes us to the main contact list and then shows us the name of that category on the toolbar. Clicking on this, it goes into the main activity and shows us the name of that category on the toolbar. Clicking on this does the same thing. Clicking on each of the category does the same thing. Okay, so now let's go through what we have done. So first we created the category activity and made the category activity a launcher activity instead of the main activity by moving this intent filter and the launcher category name, by moving it from the main activity into the category activity. Then next, in the category recycler adapter, we created our recycler adapter and then created our lists, added our list and our listener method as in form of a lambda. And then here we invoked the category name once any item is clicked. Here we created a list of string categories that we want to make use of. So here we created the category item using a card view, just one text view. And then in the category activity, we had to bind the adapter to the RecyclerView. And then we set the category activity, we set the title to contact category, the toolbar title to contact category, and then we passed in the category from the adapter here. We created a listener here where we passed in the string, where we passed in the category name from the adapter into the invoke method. Then in the activity, we get the invoke method using this lambda syntax, and then we move into the main activity using the put extra to pass the string from the category activity to the main activity. Here we created this here as well. Then in the main activity, we receive the extra. First, we need to check that the extra is actually passing in data that is not empty. Then if it is not empty, we can get the extra and set it to the toolbar title. So now we are come to the end of this assignment.